Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Young and the Restless spoilers Wednesday full April 152026. Welcome back to our channel. You guys, today is a beautifully chaotic day in the soap world. And honestly, my brain is just buzzing with all the madness going down in Genoa City. Grab a huge cup of coffee, maybe two, because we have a massive amount of drama to unpack today. Let's just jump right into the deep end. And let me tell you, we have to start with Phyllis Summers because my head is absolutely spinning from what is going on with her and her kids right now. So Phyllis tries to talk to Daniel Romolodi. She just wants to have a conversation with her son. And Daniel, he completely shuts her down. He flat out refuses to speak to her. He basically tells her that she has absolutely no right to speak into his life, no right to be part of his world, until she returns the company she stole. Until she gives back Newman Enterprises, which she rebranded as Summers Conglomerate, he wants nothing to do with her. And honestly, I just sat there staring at the screen when this happened. I mean, what Daniel is really drawing the line here? Over a corporation. It just feels so wild to me. Phyllis is standing there, realizing in real time that her children, both Daniel and Summer, have completely drawn a line in the sand. And the hypocrisy of it all is just staggering. It really is. Let's be real for a second. Let's really look at the history here. Phyllis is realizing that her kids could somehow find it in their hearts to forgive her for faking her own death. You guys remember that, right? She faked her death. She let her children mourn her. She let them cry over her grave. She let them think she was gone forever, and they forgave her for that. They eventually moved past the massive, world-shattering trauma of their mother pretending to be a corpse. But taking down Victor Newman, overthrowing his corporate empire, that is where they draw the line. That is the unforgivable sin in the eyes of Summer and Daniel. I can't even wrap my head around the logic. They can forgive extreme emotional manipulation, but they cannot forgive corporate espionage. Why? Because it's Victor. It all comes back to Victor Newman, and Phyllis is standing there, completely isolated, realizing that her kids are punishing her for finally winning a war that she has been fighting for decades. They don't want her to be like Victor. They are using this intense, brutal, tough love approach on her. But here is the thing that really gets me. The kids are acting like they are taking the moral high ground, but by cutting their mother out of their lives so coldly, they are actually acting exactly like Victor. They are showing that they have that Newman ruthlessness in them. They are doing the exact same thing Victor does when someone displeases him. They cut her off. They freeze her out. They use their love as a weapon to force her into submission. It's tough love, sure, but it's toxic tough love. And Phyllis is just breaking, because viewers of The Young and the Restless know one fundamental truth. Phyllis is not as ruthless as Victor. She just isn't. I know she does crazy things. I know she just used Kane Ashby's AI program to steal a whole conglomerate. But at her core, she is not a sociopath. It is genuinely hard to out-ruthless a true sociopath like Victor Newman. Victor will cut off his own flesh and blood without shedding a single tear if they cross him. He will banish his kids, strip them of their trust funds, and sleep like a baby that same night. But Phyllis is bleeding. Her kids abandoning her feels like actual death to her. It is killing her inside. She doesn't have that ice in her veins when it comes to Summer and Daniel. She might have ice for Diane or for Victor, but not for her babies. So being rejected by them because she finally hit Victor where it hurts, it's destroying her. She thought they would be proud of her, or at least understand why she had to do it. Instead, they look at her like she's the monster. Thank God for Lauren Fenmore. Honestly, Lauren is trying to comfort Phyllis as much as she possibly can. Lauren is like the only person left in Genoa City who actually sees Phyllis as a human being right now. And Lauren is asking the hard questions. She's sitting there with Phyllis, trying to unpack all this trauma, and she asks the ultimate question. Does the end justify the means? Did stealing Newman Enterprises, did drugging Kane, did causing all this chaos actually bring Phyllis any peace? And I think Phyllis is starting to realize that maybe it didn't. Maybe the ends don't justify the means if the cost is her entire family. But at the same time, how is she supposed to just back down? How is she supposed to hand Victor Newman his power back after everything he has done to her? I mean, we all remember the Marco Onicelli nightmare. Victor brought a cartel boss into Phyllis's bed. And her kids didn't disown Victor for that. But she steals a building and suddenly she's the devil? It makes me want to scream at the television. It really does. Okay, let me take a breath. Sorry, I just get so heated about the Phyllis double standards. Let's shift over to the Newman Ranch, because things are just as messy over there. Nikki Newman and Victor are having it out. Nikki is absolutely furious with Victor over what he did to Jack Abbott. She is trying to have a real, adult conversation with her husband about his actions. She wants him to take some accountability. But Victor, he completely refuses to admit that he did anything wrong. He is standing there looking at his wife and refusing to give an inch. It doesn't matter that Jack didn't even attack him. It doesn't matter that Jack has been dealing with his own massive issues, like his failing marriage to Diane or the crazy Patty Williams yacht situation. Victor does not care. He refuses to say sorry. He refuses to admit fault. And then he does the most childish thing ever. He just walks away. He literally turns his back and walks away like a stubborn toddler who didn't get his way. He leaves Nikki standing there, just seething with anger. What is wrong with this man? He is supposed to be this grand patriarch, this brilliant chess master. But the second his wife asks him to apologize for being cruel, he throws a silent tantrum and leaves the room. And why? Why is Victor so completely unhinged when it comes to Jack right now? It's his ego. It is his incredibly fragile, massive ego. Victor cannot handle the fact that Jack Abbott was better at helping Nikki than he was. Let's be real here. When Nikki was struggling, when she needed support, Jack stepped up. Jack was there for her in a way that Victor just wasn't. And Victor's fragile little ego will never, ever get over that. He hates Jack for being a good friend to his wife. He hates Jack for showing him up. So in Victor's twisted mind, Jack deserves everything bad that happens to him. Jack deserves to be targeted. Jack deserves to suffer simply because Jack proved that Victor is not the only man who can save Nikki. It is so petty. It is so unbelievably petty. Victor has billions of dollars. He has a global empire. But he is throwing a fit because his wife's ex-husband gave her a shoulder to cry on. I just can't with him today. I really can't. So Victor is stomping around the ranch, pouting about Jack, completely oblivious to the fact that his actual flesh and blood is currently facing a horrific nightmare in Nevada. Yes, let's talk about Las Vegas. Oh my God, you guys, the Vegas storyline is giving me actual anxiety. My stomach is in knots watching this. Nick Newman is in deep, deep trouble. We all knew this plan was going to fail. We knew it. When Nick and Adam went to Vegas to hunt down Matt Clark, I was screaming at the screen. You do not play games with Matt Clark on his own turf. And what happens? Nick walks right into a trap. He thought he was being so smart, replacing Adam at the meeting, but Matt was already 10 steps ahead. So now Nick is tied up, he is bound, he is helpless, and he is pumped full of drugs. And Matt Clark is just standing over him, having this sickeningly friendly little chat. That's the creepiest part, right? Matt isn't yelling, he isn't screaming. He's just casually talking to Nick like they are old buddies catching up at a coffee shop. It is chilling. And then Matt starts mocking him. He just relentlessly mocks Nick for his sheer stupidity. He laughs in Nick's face because Nick, in his drug-addled haze over the last few weeks, actually bought drugs from Matt's own people. Nick thought he was flying under the radar, thought he was being a rogue agent, but he was literally buying fentanyl from the very guy he was trying to catch. Matt is just rubbing his face in it. You bought from my guys, Nick. You walked right into my web. The humiliation is just awful to watch. Nick is struggling. He's sweating. The drugs are messing with his head. And he finally asks the question we are all wondering. He asks Matt if he is going to kill him. And Matt's answer, "Oh, it sent shivers down my spine." Matt smiles and says no. He refuses to kill him. He says that killing Nick would be too easy. It would be a mercy. Matt doesn't want Nick dead. He wants him destroyed. He tells Nick exactly what his plan is, and it is pure evil. Matt says he is going to pump Nick so full of drugs, so full of fentanyl and whatever else he has, that Nick is going to become completely addicted. He is going to fry Nick's brain until Nick doesn't even know his own name anymore. He wants to turn the golden boy of the Newman family into a mindless, drooling junkie who can't even string a sentence together. But wait, it gets worse, because Matt is a total psychopath. He tells Nick that once Nick's brain is completely ruined, once Nick is just a useless shell of a human being suffering from extreme withdrawals and overdose symptoms, then Matt is going to go after his family. Think about that. Just really think about the psychological torture of that. Matt wants Nick to be trapped in his own rotting mind, knowing that Matt is heading to Genoa City to hunt down Summer, Noah, Faith, and Sharon. Matt wants to slaughter Nick's family, while Nick is too high and too broken to do anything to stop it. It is so dark. This show has gone to some dark places, but this feels so heavy. And Nick has to just sit there and listen to this. He is tied to a chair. His veins are practically singing for more drugs because of what they've been doing to him for weeks. And he has to listen to this monster detail how he is going to murder his children. I honestly felt sick watching Nick's face. He is getting completely roasted for his stupidity. Matt is just tearing him apart piece by piece, mentally and physically. And where is Adam? Adam is out there with Riza, probably losing his mind with guilt because he let Nick go to that room. Adam knows how dangerous Matt is. Adam knows the spider world. But Nick didn't listen. Nick thought he was invincible because he's a Newman. Well, the Newman name doesn't mean a damn thing in the underground of Las Vegas. I keep seeing people on social media talking about how this feels like a Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty situation. Like, are they both going to go over the cliff? Are Nick and Matt going to take each other out? Because right now, I don't see how Nick gets out of this without permanent damage. Even if Adam kicks down the door right this second, Nick has been pumped full of heavy narcotics. You don't just walk away from that. You don't just hop on the Newman jet and go back to running a coffee house. His brain is being altered as we speak. It makes me so mad at Victor, too. Victor is sitting in his mansion, whining about Jack Abbott helping Nikki, while his son is literally being tortured and turned into a drug addict in a dirty room in Vegas. Victor is all about protecting the family, but he is so obsessed with his corporate pride and his petty grudges that he doesn't even know his boy is dying. Which brings me back to Phyllis. Everything in this town is so interconnected. It's crazy. Phyllis is sitting in Genoa City, crying because her kids hate her for taking Victor's company. Victor is ignoring his family to hate Jack. Nick is losing his mind in Vegas. It's all a mess. But let's talk about the big question that everyone is asking right now. Let's say Phyllis actually listens to Daniel. Let's say the pain of losing her children is too much, and she decides she has to give the company back. If Phyllis returns Newman Enterprises, will she return it intact? I mean, come on, this is Phyllis Summers we are talking about. She might not be as cold-blooded as Victor. She might actually love her kids enough to surrender, but she is still petty. She is still vengeful. If she is forced to hand the keys back to Victor Newman just to get Summer and Daniel to talk to her again, do we really think she's just going to sign the papers and walk away? I don't think though, I really don't. I think if Phyllis has to give it back, she is going to dismantle it first. She is going to tear it apart piece by piece. Maybe she sells off the most profitable divisions. Maybe she leaks all of Victor's confidential files. Maybe she transfers all the liquid assets into offshore accounts that Victor can't touch. If she goes down, she is going to make sure Victor bleeds in the process. She might give him the building, but she will make sure the foundation is completely rotten. Because that is the only way Phyllis can survive this with her pride intact. She will do it for her kids, but she will make Victor pay for making her do it. What do you guys think if Phyllis returns Newman? Will she keep the status quo, or will she take it apart piece by piece before handing it over? And do you think Nick is actually going to survive Matt Clark's twisted addiction plan, or is his brain going to be permanently fried? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below because I need to know I'm not the only one stressing out over this.